Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are wrapping, I guess not wrapping up yet. We got one more romantic movie going on here. But we are recording this on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to the world out there, and happy Valentine's Day to you too, sweetie.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So we decided to watch a movie about the possibly grumpiest man in the world to celebrate Valentine's, I guess, with the 1997 classic As Good As It Gets.
Good as it gets.
Starring Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt, Greg Kinnear, Cuba Gooding Jr.
I didn't know it was Cuba Gooding Jr. until the hospital scene, I think. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt both won Academy Awards for this film. It had the unfortunate pleasure of going up against Titanic the year it came out.
What can you do about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate for them. They had to go up against the juggernaut that was Titanic, and that just, didn't end well when it came to the Best Picture race. But they still walked away with, some hardware for actor and actress. And it's still currently, as of this recording, the last film to win Best Actor and Best Actress from the single film. It was the last one to do that.
That's neat.
Yeah, you're talking, over 20 plus years now since that's happened.
Don't make me do math.
No, I'm not. That's why I just went with the nice soft 20 plus years. Yeah. So here we go.
So was there a significant age difference between Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt?
There is.
Okay.
At the time of filming, I think regardless of the time of filming, it doesn't matter. They're both still alive. It's, I think, 26 years is the difference. I think at the time of filming, he was 60 and she was 34.
Okay.
So, there's a 26-year difference in age.
I mean,
I think in this movie, it's not necessarily a plot point, but I don't think they try and play him younger or her much older than that.
No, I didn't feel like that watching the movie. I did not feel like that at all.
Yeah, it's not really forced that it's like, oh, he's still a handsome man. No, he was still an old curmudgeon. Like, he still played that well. Yeah.
Okay. I was very uncomfortable with the beginning of this movie.
I, in all honesty, forgot the very beginning of this film that he threw a dog down a trash chute.
I hated that.
I know you did.
That hurt me.
I would have probably warned you had I remembered he had done that. I genuinely forgot.
I'm pretty sure I looked over at you and I asked you, "What are you doing to me?"
I know, yeah, and I was just like, it's just let it play out. Let it play out. They're setting him up to be the worst human being ever. You've got to let this play out. And I really, when that happened, I went, ooh, I forgot about that right out of the gate. I thought he was just mean. I forgot he actually did that to a dog.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just the puppy thing. It was the language he uses.
Oh, yeah.
It was very distracting for me.
It
was very distracting. I could not focus on the movie because all I could think about was, did he just say that?
Like how bigoted he is.
Yeah.
And how, nasty a human being he was. Jack Nicholson actually feared people would not like this film because of how unlikable this character was.
Well, he's not wrong.
Said that. He said that in,
I mean, that's definitely how it was for me at the beginning. We'll see if that
we'll
changed.
See how it plays out. I mean, that's kind of what they want is...
I don't know.
I don't think you necessarily have to like him at the end, but you kind of see his character
develop,
take that arc of improving who he is.
Right.
But there's a question I'm going to ask you at the end of this anyway about that. But anyway, let's go on with what you got.
It was so uncomfortable. I could not focus on the movie because the language was so distracting for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just me being too PC or whatever. Right. And I'm just like, what if they made this movie today? Would they still use that same dialogue? I don't know.
I don't know. I think they could. I think they very well could. While it might be uncomfortable, I still think that it's a representation of people who are out there in the world.
Right. And that's when I started thinking, I'm like, well, what does this say about me that I'm uncomfortable with this? Because these type of people exist. Mm-hmm. If there's nothing I can do if I run into a person like that, I'm not going to change his life just by smiling at him. You know what I mean? Like, actually, there's been a homeless person that I smiled at as I was walking past him and he just started cursing me out. So, there are people like that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So we got the puppy, the language, and then when they're beating the crap out of the guy, all in the very beginning.
Yeah, that's probably in the first half
20,
hour
yeah.
or so
And I'm
of the
just
movie.
like,
Yeah.
my heart hurts so much. I was in so much pain, and I'm
Right.
like, I wrote down, I need redemption, and I need it fast.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you were getting it fast, but
I was not.
you were
getting
gonna
it fast.
the redemption comes down the road, but you were not gonna get it fast.
No. So,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go next. Just the beginning of the movie was so traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then, who the fuck is Carl? Why is he only in the beginning?
Carl.
He's the guy that finds the model.
Oh, the guy. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be some friend of theirs, I guess.
Like, he was only in it for 2 seconds to pick out the model, and then he's
right.
Why even give him a name? Like, I don't know. I just understand that part. Did they cut his part out? I don't know. Anyways, I pack like Melvin. I pack my suitcases. I lay everything out on my bed, and then I check it off my list. Do I have an outfit for this day? For this day? For this day?
You have an itinerary.
Yes, I do. I don't know if that's obsessive compulsive coming into play or what. So yeah, at the beginning I wrote down, well, he's very, very clearly OCD.
Yes.
And then I wrote down, okay, well, maybe he's autistic. And I said, no, I'm not going to play living room doctor. And then I just wrote down, he's rude.
He's rude.
He's rude.
You can be OCD and not be an asshole.
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
And I would argue it wasn't the OCD that made him the asshole.
Oh, no, not at all.
It was other
he's just
depression
bigoted.
or whatever. Like, he clearly has a lot going on up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I mean, he's a shut-in. Mm-hmm. Like he said, there's never been anybody else in his apartment.
Right, he's agoraphobic.
He only goes out to the restaurant to go get his breakfast. And then after that, he seems to know me if he doesn't either go see his publisher or go see his shrink. That's it.
Which he hadn't seen his shrink for several years.
Right,
Like
I said, yeah.
And like I can empathize with that because mental health is hard. It's hard for you to take the steps to get yourself to get help. Yes.
To get help.
It's hard to do that. So I can empathize with that. But like, I don't know. It was Mark. So he's a writer.
Yes.
He's a writer. He's single. He lives alone. We don't know that he has any other family.
Yes.
And that's how he's so rich. Because he's their best-selling romance novelist?
Yes. Like, what did he say? He said a number, like
61.
61. So he's written 61 novels.
Okay.
You know, or he just completed number 61.
Right.
He has 60 published novels.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very successful at
Yeah.
it. I mean, he has a very upscale apartment in New York City. And he dresses very uptown,
right.
if you will. He dresses very much in that vein. So I definitely think he's very well off. He's doing very well for himself, but, you know, he only spends his money
on rent, breakfast, and
bars of soap.
Right.
So many bars of soap.
So many bars of soap.
Bottled water, because that's the only way he'll drink it, or all the little things that he needs to get by that, you know, we see as superfluous, really. But because of his disorder, I mean, that's, you know, the way it is.
Yeah, that's how he lives. Carol, on the other hand, is a very touchy-feely person. I wrote down. I don't know, that's bizarre to me because I am not. But like to be that intimate with strangers is, I mean, they're not strangers. They're probably regulars that she sees every day. But
yeah,
I don't know.
At the restaurants and stuff, where she works.
The next day I was getting ready for work or something, and we still had the DVD case sitting out, and at the bottom I noticed it was marketed as a comedy.
Yes.
I don't think I laughed once during this film.
Oh, I don't think so either. I think at those parts where you could have, you were just so turned off completely by whom he was and how he acts and stuff like that you couldn't find any of the humor in the absurdity of what he was saying.
I couldn't find the humor because it wasn't funny. All the humor to me was based off his mental illnesses.
Yes, I would.
And I did not find that funny.
Yeah.
If it were, and I thought maybe if it were more marketed as a drama or more as a drama, I might be able to get behind it. But when the jokes are at the expense of a person suffering with mental health issues, it's not funny to me.
Yeah.
It's not.
I can't change your mind on
that.
No,
I know.
I'm just that.
And I don't know. There were too many parties involved, and it was too slow, and I didn't get enough of the story between, Verdal's the dog dad, the blonde guy.
Yeah, Simon.
I didn't get. It wasn't believable to me when Simon's boyfriend came over and said, "You're doing this as a form of repayment." That was not believable at all to me. I would not want, if someone treated you like that, the last thing I would want to do is put you in the care of that person or put your dog in the care of that person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, were they in desperate? Was it a desperate situation?
It seemed as so because all the other neighbors that he knew on there would not take the dog in, and then
he doesn't talk to his parents.
He doesn't. Yeah, there's a falling out and a drama with his parents, and I think his boyfriend Cuba Gooding Jr. said that he couldn't take him in because he's out and about all the time and he can't take the dog out, can't take the needs of the dog, and so I think he saw it as a way of vengeance and yet redemption for this awful person whom, you go under the assumption is like there's no way he's going to hurt this dog. Like we know he threw it down a garbage chute or whatever. But consider it's the leap of faith of he's going to take care of this animal because he has to. It's not a burden. It's not something that he doesn't have a direct connection to anymore, that he just sees as a nuisance. Now it's like, this is a responsibility you have to take to make amends for what you did earlier to the dog. It's a leap of faith is what it is. It really is. And it's an intimidation. I mean, as Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character showed, like Melvin's very intimidated by him,
Right.
And he just exploits that and uses it to his advantage to, make sure that this dog is taken care of.
Yeah. I wrote down, sure, he gets more human. So I do see Melvin getting more human, more compassionate, more opening his heart as the movie goes on. Was it enough for me?
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think you can throw money at a person, no matter how much it benefits them. I don't think you can throw money at a person and expect things to be okay.
I don't think he hired the doctor as a means of romantically getting in with Carol.
Oh, no. I don't think it was a romantic thing at all.
I think he genuinely wanted her to get back to work because his routine was screwed. He had
I agree with that. He didn't set out to be like, I'm going to win this woman's heart. Right. I'm going to do this. It was, I want my breakfast back. I want my...
And I think over the course of the time they had to spend together and all that, I think there was that kind of strange relationship that built out of that and blossomed out of that. And he realized that, she's probably the only person that can talk to him the way she does, and he respects her.
Yeah.
I don't think he respects Cuba's character that much at all, but he is intimidated. Yeah. I think he is intimidated by Carol, but he also respects her and respects what she says in her opinion, even though he puts his foot in his mouth more often than not. That's why when he tells her that whole story in the restaurant, about taking pills again, because he hates, and he even emphasizes, I use the word hate about pills, but you make me want to be a better man, and that I do believe was genuine from him.
I agree. I agree too. I don't know. I think
I think he is trying to better himself, and he sees that coming from her.
Yeah.
What's funny is the question I was going to bring up to you is whether or not you think they make it as a couple, down the road. Do you think they will make it?
There's a lot of variables in that. Like if he continues to take his pills and see her shrink and do the things that he needs to do for himself to give him that, foundation, that solid foundation, yes, they can absolutely make it. If he falls off the wagon, if he reverts back to that, we'll call it pre-Carol disposition, no, they don't.
I don't think they make it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do because I think Carol is in a bit of a desperate situation romantically.
Yeah.
I think she's longing for
Angelica.
I think she's longing for an intimate contact.
Yeah.
I think she absolutely because you see that she goes on the date with the guy, and that guy's just all over her.
Right, that was the first date, right?
And that's what I assumed. It was a first date.
That's what I assumed, and then he went, woo. And she was okay with it.
Right, and she seemed to be all right with it, and that told me, one, I think ultimately she wouldn't be okay with it, but two, I think she's so desperate to, quote, feel like a woman, or so, you know what I mean? Feel that intimate touch, that she's willing to allow this to go far faster or more comfortable than she wants it to be.
My big hang up was the house.
Oh, God.
The building they were in.
Yeah,
like, you're going to do that on the couch with this guy that you just met when the only thing separating you and your mom is a curtain.
There's a curtain, right. She's like, close the curtain. When she walks back, I was like, what is it, a soundproof curtain? No. No.
Yeah.
That's not working for anybody.
No. That was the most I don't know. That was the toughest pill to swallow for me, was all this is happening and your kid's also 2 rooms down.
Right. Exactly. That was a bit much. But I feel like Carol is that thing that is, like I said, makes him better. But I don't think romantically I don't think they actually have that connection.
Yeah.
I think there's too much, I think there's too much obligation there. And I feel like over time it will either become a huge problem that they get in a fight and Melvin just goes, well, I can call the doctor and not have it come, but do something very mean, very rude. And I don't know. In my heart, I don't feel like they would make it under any circumstance. I really don't. I think they're going to give it the college try. I think they're going, and they did, walking in, go to the bakery, do all that. I genuinely don't think it lasts more than a month.
Yeah.
I think eventually they're going to figure out romantically they're probably incompatible. Mm-hmm. But as long as she keeps coming to work and they have this odd friendship of sorts, I think that will work out. I think they can have that kind of relationship, and he can be some sort of, quasi uncle to take care of the kid and, make sure he gets all the treatment that he needs.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So when I answered your question, I was thinking to macro, I guess.
Okay.
I wasn't really thinking about the interpersonal dynamics. I was just thinking mental health. And this. So I think I agree with you. Now that hearing all that she was desperate. Not desperate in a bad way, but like,
no, I think she just needs that.
She needed that intimate. Everybody needs that.
At some point, it's the human contact thing, and not just talking to somebody.
Touching,
we're
hugging,
human beings. I think we are as a species, we are a touchy-feely species.
Absolutely. Are there exceptions? Sure, but
I think overall, is a broad stroke, I think we are, and I think she needed that. She'd been so focused on job and the kids' health and just surviving.
Yes.
That she has needs and urges.
Yep.
They're there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they have. I think there could be resentment that builds between them. Like,
that's a good word. That's a word I couldn't find. Yeah.
Look at all I've done for you, and it could be said either way. Like with the emotional support from Carol to Melvin, and the financial support from Melvin to Carol. Like, look at all I've done for you, and you're not, Yeah. I don't feel like it's been reciprocated.
I could definitely see that argument. I can almost hear that argument. I really could. I could
Yeah.
almost hear that argument going on. Yeah.
So going back to what I said, I think it would work better as a drama. I think it could be a good narrative on mental health. Like everybody's suffering. You know, it's not always blatant. It could be you're trying to put on your best face to do a minimum wage job, and your kid's at home. You don't know how it's going to be when you get home, you know? Or you could be very visibly suffering and lashing out at everyone like Melvin does. So I think I would like the movie a lot better if it were reframed as a drama and kind of highlighted that everybody's got shit going on. Just like be nice.
I don't even think they have to like recut anything in it. I think they could if I literally told you this is a romantic drama, you might have had a different idea going into it than if I told you it was a romantic comedy.
I think so
because
too.
It was billed as romantic comedy, and I think there's those of us who saw it when it first came out that obviously think that it is funny, and it's the absurdity I think of his bigotry that makes it funny. It's not so much the quirks of the mental illness, the not stepping on cracks and stuff like that. Yeah. It's cute when the dog doesn't step on the cracks, like that's funny. But overall, I think it's just that kind of his bigotry is what makes it insane and funny to us.
Okay.
Not so much that he has his disorder, because once again, his disorder is no excuse for his bigotry whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, it's just not there. It can't be done. And you didn't establish that there was another problem. You know what I mean? You didn't say, well, he's also autistic. Mm-hmm. Not to say autism's a problem. Don't jump on me. But, not to say there's anything else that is going on with him mentally other than his OCD.
Right.
So I think that him just being a bigot it harkens back to the Archie Bunker days of All in the Family, where the bigot kind of gets his comeuppance all the time. Like, he says these terrible things and we laugh because it's like, oh my God. It's one of those funny because it's true, and it's also sad because it's true, because there's people who think exactly like this.
And see, that's what I kept questioning myself is, do I not like that I not enjoy it just because I was being too PC, too PC culture, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, maybe
there's a little bit of that to play in there. Maybe it just makes you uncomfortable, period.
Yeah.
And you yourself can't laugh at that. Like, once again, I'm not going to play armchair doctor, but maybe that does play something into it. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of his most ridiculous lines are all his incredibly bigoted lines, and they're funny because it's like you laugh a bit at the ignorance of it.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's like, come on, man, like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
That someone would be this bad, that someone could be this.
I don't think it's absurd to think
almost
that, though.
Spiteful in a lot of his ways, because he's also very me center of attention too. Yeah. Like, remember when they're sitting in the car and Simon's pouring his heart out about his backstory to Carol, and he's like, my father would do it. He just chimes in,
comment,
right?
Like, yeah, I agree.
I just feel like Melvin, I think, can be a lovable character, but there's so much work to get to that, to chisel through all of his nonsense and bullshit to get to what's probably is a good person underneath. We've seen that in his care for the dog, his care for Carol's kid, mm-hmm. and in the end, it's even his care for Simon. He took Simon in.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a strong arm by Cuba Gooding Jr. I really wish I could remember that character's name, but I don't think it was a strong arm by him. I would think he told him, like, no, he's going to stay with me. He has nowhere else to go. He can stay with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge step.
It is.
Then he still degrades him here and there too. He tells you people are supposed to be sensitive. Like, that kind of, that's where that humor comes out of it, is just that play on stereotypes and bigotry, and how it's like, well, we can sit there and say we can see harmful bigotry and go, it is so bad and it's so awful, but this is almost, these kinds of movies are almost that safe view to look at it and trying to think of the way to put this, but the way that you can look at it and experience it without
having to be in that
without
situation.
the hate having to come with it.
Okay.
You
So
actually get to laugh at the hate and disarm it as that has no power over me now because it's so ridiculous that you're that simple-minded and think of something like that and think that way. You can find a way to disarm that hate with that. So it might just be something that you as a person need to come around to,
I don't know.
or you may never come around to that, and that may not be anything.
All I'm hearing you say right now is this is an example of good bigotry, and here's an example of bad bigotry.
Bigotry's bigotry. I understand. I do understand that, but I think in comedy, it's always been kind of like a philosophy thing. Like you can always see it. Bad comedy, like where the joke goes too far when you see it. Like you just know that it's at. A good example of that's in Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know if you've ever seen Breakfast at Tiffany's. Okay, well that's one we gotta watch down the line. But Mickey Rooney, who's a white man, plays an Asian man, and it's the most stereotypical, uncomfortable thing to see.
Yeah.
Full makeup, big teeth, squinty, and talks with the bad Asian accent and broken English. And this is in the 50s, 60s, something like that. And honestly, even then, it shouldn't have been okay.
Right.
The fact that it's just lived on for so long and it's just there, it's this uncomfortable part. And it's not funny. Like, you just watch it. It's just not funny. It was supposed to be funny, and I don't even think it was funny then.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone knew, like, whoops.
This is wrong.
Yeah. And I want to say Mickey Rooney even apologized for it not too long after, like, it came out. So, comedy can have that, always toes that line.
I was about to say,
always
walks
toes
that thin line.
One point, we're going to watch Blazing Saddles, which is regarded as one of the funniest movies ever. A lot of bigotry in it. But you'll see, hopefully when you see it, you'll see why it's funny, though. Okay. You'll see why the use of these words and the way it's being done is funny. But that's something we can get to later on down the line.
One last thing. There's a part towards the end, and I don't know if it's when Carol and Melvin are arguing, but I was like, I feel like the angel on my shoulder is Carol and the devil on my shoulder is Melvin. Like, if I had to put characters to them, that's what it felt like. Probably
when they're walking around, what is that, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Before the bakery?
Yeah.
Excuse me, before the bakery opens?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably something around there.
Yeah, so that's all my notes. The love story wasn't solid enough. I think I mentioned that. And
I don't think, even for a romantic comedy, as this was billed and done, I don't think the romance was going to be a solid romance. I don't think it was meant to be. It's not like When Harry Met Sally, where you
like
watch
people are going to end up together for they're meant to be type of thing.
Right. I think you got to see this awkward start to a relationship. Almost like if When Harry Met Sally was just the car ride.
Yeah, okay.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And someone told you, they get married at the end. You're like, wait, what?
No.
So I think it's a lot like that. It's that this whole movie is the awkward car ride at the beginning of When Harry Met Sally. And it finishes you with that, I want to say hope. That gives you that hope that he might be able to change enough, and that she will be able to tolerate some of this, but it won't feel like a have to. Like, I have to tolerate some of this stuff. Like, it'll feel natural, and it will be they'll have a synergy when it's all said and done. As I said before, I don't think so. I don't think they make it.
No.
I don't think they make it at all.
I'd have to agree with you.
So yeah, as good as it gets. Very well reviewed film. It was well liked, won lots of awards. Once again, it had the unfortunate pleasure of running up against Titanic in the awards runs, so couldn't win quite as many as it probably would have. But as good as it gets. So what's your rating? How low does it go?
I don't even know. I'm really struggling. Like, I don't know. I don't even have a rating for this one.
So as good as it gets, it's going to get a 0. A 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow, not even like a 1 for the dog. Sweet, cute little Verdell.
All I can think about is him going down the trash chute.
Not him enjoying all that bacon and having something wrong with his stomach later on.
No, I can't, because all I know is that you're not supposed to feed dogs bacon, because your mom never lets me forget that.
Nope, never feed them bacon. Pork products in general, no.
I don't know. I'm
not going to force you to rate it something you don't want to rate it.
I don't know what I would rate it. I don't know. It's unrated.
Wow.
And
it doesn't even get a 0.
I don't want to say that it gets a 0, because that's like, did I find some redeeming qualities in it? Sure. Overall, I don't think it was a good film.
Yeah.
I maybe would give it a 1.
Well, let's call it a 1 then. We'll give it a 1. That way, it's the lowest rated film that you've watched so far.
Beats out Jurassic Park.
Just eking out Jurassic Park with a 2.
Oh, Jurassic Park had a 2? I thought I gave it a 3.
No. You gave it a hard 2.
Okay.
Yeah. You were confident in that 2.
Well, now I need to. My scale has been reframed. So Jurassic Park might get a 5 after this one. I don't know.
Oh, it's funny. Well, next week, I hope it goes up significantly next week. It's a very romantic movie. Beautiful film. Watch. I'd like to go ahead and say it, but I just all right. So next week we're watching Moulin Rouge. So tune in for that one, because I love that film, and I think you will too.
This one.
It's what makes it fun is it's like a jukebox musical. So almost all the songs, if not all the songs, are popular songs. They're just restructured.
Did you put a song on one of my mixtapes once from that?
I did.
Medley of.
I actually used 2. I gave you the Elephant Love Song medley.
That's what I was thinking of.
And Your Song by Ewan McGregor.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was the same one. Okay.
Nope, 2 different songs. So I think you're gonna like it.
I hope so.
I knew As Good as It Gets would be towing the line. I really did. I didn't know it would be that.
This was the first time I gave you feedback during the middle of the movie.
This is true. She did in the middle of this one, because it's almost 2.5 hour movie. So I was like, we'll take a break an hour into it or so. So I paused it at a part I thought was good, and there was this very audible, there's an hour. And so and I was like, you want to take a break? She's like, no, let's just get this over with.
I said, I looked at him and I said, I hate this movie.
I wanted you to turn this movie off 20 minutes into it. I did.
20 minutes in, I couldn't. I was like, I can't finish this movie. There's no way I'm going to be able to watch this whole thing.
Yeah. Jack just couldn't redeem it for
20
her.
minutes in, I was done.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the next one goes. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.